the Auckland, New Zealand mission is primarily English speaking, as the country itself is almost primarily English, but there is a big melting pot. So Auckland, think of Auckland like a New York. I mean, okay, it's not that big, but Auckland is a big city, or best way, think of it as like Seattle. There's actually kind of like a space needle there. And the language is spoken. So there is actually Mandarin Chinese missionaries that go there because there's a big, and Korean, because there's a big Asian population in the city itself, very large. And then there's missionaries who are sent there that speak Tongan and Samoan. Okay, obviously ginormous within 40-mile radius of the city area, a truckload of Polynesians. Okay, and not like Americanized Polynesians, but like Samoans and Tongans that barely speak English. Very heavy culture. Okay, and so those are the languages that are spoken. Anybody that speaks Polynesian, they spend almost their entire mission within the city limits. Same thing with the Asian-speaking missionaries. I mean, they do not go out to where a lot of the rest of the mission is small little towns, and then a lot of times what happens. And I was my first area was Whangarei, and it was weird as a missionary because the way that you think that it was an F, WH is pronounced F. So you have some words that, like the word genealogy is pronounced whakapapa. And obviously as a missionary, like, did you just swear? But that's just how their language is. So Whangarei, that was where my first area was the second area down. There was another area with another zone up there above me, probably 50 miles or so. I can't remember the name of it, but that's like the top mission. Pretty much the further you go north or the further you go south from Auckland, the higher density of Maoris. Okay. Rugby is their religion. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, rugby is a big thing there. But the Maori people in general, honestly, extremely laid back. Very different than the Western, got to get things done, high, sprung. I mean, again, they're casual, laid back, almost to a fault at times, where that virtue becomes a vice in a lot of ways. I mean, the things that was very difficult, I mean, there's a billion things, and I'll touch upon a few that I love about their culture. One of the vices in New Zealand as a whole is their welfare or dole system. Extremely easy to get. So you'd get a lot of people that could live very comfortably off the dole. It's, again, just like here, you get people that their culture was to live off of the welfare program, and that was very difficult to, I mean, we'd teach a lot of people that we're essentially not only converting them to the gospel, but you got to go get a job. Part of what we had to teach a lot of times, because in certain rural areas, this culture of living off of the dole, people wouldn't get jobs, and that was generation after generation. So it was almost teaching them to work or pay tithing on welfare, I guess. And living out of wedlock was extremely common. I mean, I'm assuming it's extremely common here, but very uncommon there. Why? Because if you're married, you get less money for the welfare. And more kids you have, it's kind of the same broken system. So, again, that just very casual in some circles. One thing that was actually kind of a growing trend as far as, I mean, there's every type of church there, but you'd get these kind of mega churches, very flashy, I mean, you get them here, the born agains, but they're televised on a lot of different channels, and incredibly, as they call it, flashy. It becomes kind of a cool thing. So like Christianity and some of these very evangelical churches, it was like a cool thing. I mean, they really drew in the youth, and that was a little difficult in some of the areas that we worked in. I mean, even in America, you don't really get that. People might do that in their sphere, but nobody's going to be televising it on one of the local channels. It was kind of unique. I haven't seen that anywhere else that I've been. So that made it somewhat difficult. But in general, you wouldn't get Bible. There was no Bible bashers. People were generally pretty nice if you're going door to door. But yeah, the Maori people in general, nice people you'll meet in the world.